Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new camp build. So, the idea for today's build is to build a kind of house here that blends more or less into the environment of the Savage Divide, which is where we're building, and uses that little arch out front as a starting point. I like the look of that, thought it would incorporate quite nicely into a build, and yeah, I think it's come out pretty well. So, the idea, as you see here, is to kind of work off this little front entranceway and see where we go from there. The location is basically the same one we were at last time. So we're just over from c.a.m.p Disposal, I believe it's called. See, there's the camp there on that little, yeah, there we are. On the little truck there, just across from West Tech. It's a good location in the middle of the Savage Divide, this. Not far from Huntersville. White Springs just over there, which is very, very convenient. Nice easy trip for anything you want to sell, and it reduces the cost of travelling just about anywhere as much as you can, so good spot. So this is the little arch that I wanted to build off. I'll work this foundation to begin with. Unfortunately, due to the restrictions of Fallout 76 being an online game, there's only so much clipping we can do as regards getting the build as close to this arch as possible, but we'll do what we can. It's about as close as we're going to be able to get the foundation and still be able to get walls in. There we go. Basically right up against it. If I go any closer, it's not going to work. So, as you can see, we've got quite the slope here. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to the height of the floor just in order to accommodate that. We're already running into difficulties with it clipping through. Plus, I don't really want the whole thing to have a dirt floor. Much as I'd like to do that for some build someday, it comes with a whole host of issues. So we're going to lift this bit of foundation up. Unfortunately, it seems to want to jump around quite a lot, which makes it kind of difficult to get it into position. I'll lift it directly up without it going somewhere I don't want it anyway. That piece is no better, unfortunately. So we're going to stand on this side and just eyeball it. I've done it from here because you can get a clearer view of where it needs to be. Let's see from snapping that in. Looks about right. Get the upper level put in. Pop this one up. Technically speaking, this is actually going to be the ground floor, but it's the upper level for the moment, I suppose. I'm going to snap round the side so I can get the walls in on the outer edge of this. One in here, and just see whether or not these are the right height. I'll grab a half wall, snap it on the top there. Clearly that is not high enough. We'll pull out a couple of these foundations and adjust the height. This one's on its own. Just pop that up a little bit, hold the place button and then just move it up. There we go. Snap a few more back in, line things up, and then we'll test the height again. Now that's a little bit too high, so we'll drop it down one. Still not perfect, but much closer, and close enough anyway. The overhang of the roofs, that should be just about fine. We'll get a few more foundations in here and get the basic layout in. The idea here, something that seems to come more naturally to me with wooden wall pieces rather than anything else, but it's perfectly viable with brick or warehouse or barn or whatever you want to use. I actually like the way the wood looks in this case. Is that I wanted to build with sort of odd and interesting angles rather than just ending up with anything boxy. As if you saw my build over by Alpine River Cabins a while back, probably remember the oddly angular house I did there. This is a similar principle but a little bit bigger. A bit more of a Savage Divide feel to it, I think. We'll get some of the walls on, start laying out the basic framework. So although these have gone in, they're going to get turned around in just a bit. Unfortunately, with the outside of the walls and the inside, it causes problems when we come to put a roof on. Problems that are unnecessary in this particular build. Slap some walls in. Although I've put a full-size wall in here, I actually changed my mind on it and go for another half-height one. Because, as I say, I want to mix up those angles and heights and things. Make the thing feel a bit more organic. I think organic is probably quite a good term for this build, actually. There's a lot of things that sort of changed and modified and got adjusted as the build went on. Sort of grew quite naturally. So, upper floor. This staircase is one of the new additions in the atomic shop, relatively new anyway, and I infinitely prefer it to the existing metal one we've got. So we're going to use that. It looks much nicer. Fortunately, this upper floor is being a little uncooperative. There we go. So here, my first thought was to build over the inner area, which would be the obvious way to go, but ultimately I do end up kind of doing that, but kind of not at the same time. What we're going to do for now is build around the outside and try and keep that odd shape going. At least we will if I can ever get this to snap. There we go. Sometimes they are a bit awkward like that. Bring this around the corner. I actually will eventually extend this over towards the entrance there, but I ended up doing that during the decoration phase, so we'll have a look at that when the tour comes around. I'll take a moment and have a bit of a longer look at that bit. Now, get some walls in. Again, this is something that's basically temporary, because I took the initial idea and ended up modifying it. Now, with this corner over here, we're going to drop the height of the walls again and put an angled roof piece on there, which will create a bit more of an interesting shape. And same thing over this end as well, although ultimately that will be changing. So, back down to the entrance. Obviously I'm having some issues getting the roof on here, so we're going to pull those walls off, snap this roof to the one that's the right way around. There we go. And now we can use the roof as a guide to make sure the walls snap in the right way around. There we go. From there, we'll take these half walls off. Apparently the full-size ones are perfectly happy to go in there. Snap into that lower foundation, I think, there. Yep, there we go. Jump back up the top. Now we need a roof on this bit. Obviously this is going to have to be an angled roof. This is going to be a staircase there. I'll come back to that one on the right in a moment. Get the roof in first, as it'll give us a much easier guide of where I want things to snap. There you go. And an angled corner roof for this section here. Nice. And plug the gap. Sorted. So I'm actually going to end up switching this up again because I have some issues with the stairs in just a moment, but for now we'll come back up here and stick an admittedly temporary roof on here, but you get the vibe. One of the good things about organic builds like this is you can basically do anything you like with them and modify them and keep the same principle in place if you want to do something similar yourself, and basically do it your own way, but still keep the same vibe keep the same vibe going. I think that's what I want to say. So for now we're going to put this arched roof on the top. I actually end up swapping it out for the same angled ones like we've got over here that you can see. Not these ones I'm playing with now, but the sloped ones. Just because that right hand edge of the wall there ends up being very, very sheer on the outside edge and very tall, and I wanted to bring it down a little bit. But you'll see the final result of that in the tour in a bit. Get that last wall in there, close that gap up. Stick a railing on here under the defences tab, because why wouldn't there be? And there we go. Again, another temporary roof in here to show how it can be done. I'll be replacing these with floors, but again, I did it during the decoration phase, so we'll review that in a bit. There we go. Let's plug that up. Basically, got the main structure in place now. Swap out a few of the windows. Walls, 4 windows rather. We've got a view. Let's be able to see it. Still need to plug that gap up by the roof there, but same as we did on the other side, so not too difficult. This is one thing I did change. Pull that wall out, stick the angled wall in there and drop a railing on, which just gives it a much more open feel. It's a principle I carried on with by extending that upper section around over the entrance area. Round to the right there. For now, back down to the entrance. I'm going to try and get a staircase in. Wooden one won't go, but the stone one will. However, because we're so close to the arch here, I can't get either staircase in here, which is a bit unfortunate. Really hoping to keep that arch as much more an entrance vibe. What we ended up going with was more of a cave vibe, which is quite cool. Quite like the way it came out, though it did have its own unique challenges as well. We'll pull the door back one, get these walls out, and here I accidentally scrapped the foundation behind that wall, which gave me an idea, which led on to the kind of cave vibe of the front entrance. Pull that foundation out, get some foundations in on the side. Everyone's got its own ideas about where it wants to snap, apparently. Yep, pop that into place again. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a gap here that I can't plug up with a foundation, and even if I could, it would probably stick out in a slightly unfortunate way. This side works okay though, so we'll close that top gap up with some half walls, and you'll see in a bit how I address the gap on this side. So I was hoping I could use the flat roofs and extend them out to cover this little front entrance here, right up to the edge of the rock face, which actually I can do. Important thing to note here is which way around you put the roofs. You need the enclosed end facing outward, or more to the point facing inward, otherwise you have a gap. As you can see, I can't close that off, so we'll address that in a moment. For this bit, I initially wanted an earth floor for what's basically going to be a generator room underneath the upper level here. But any creatures, particularly mole rats or rad scorpions that spawn through the ground, can just get inside and damage the generator, so I also didn't like the look of the warehouse pieces. They were too visible from too far away. It didn't really blend into the environment, so I decided to put some foundations in and swap it out for some wooden ones. Although here I'm going to put stone ones in, but again, I changed my mind yet again. Kind of a theme with this build. In that back corner there, you can see I've got a couple of pillars supporting the corner. As usual, those don't want to snap straight onto the corner, so you just have to put a half upper floor on there and just position it so it sticks out beyond the corner, and then you're effectively snapping those posts to the centre of the half floor rather than to the piece you actually want them connected to. So when you pull the floor off, it stays connected to the corner instead. Now, I'm going to tweak these out. It's basically exactly what I went with when I changed it to wood, but because I'm going to have wires running through where those windows are, I felt it made much more sense for you to be able to sort of drill holes through wooden walls, or poke holes through, or squeeze it through the gaps or something, than it did to have brick ones, so it made the glitching look a bit more normal and natural. If you want to know how to glitch wires through walls, by the way, I do have a video up on the channel about that. Dead easy, really. Let's take a look at the finished product. So you see up there I've changed those stone pieces out for wood, and it's much more in keeping with the rest of the build. I've done an awfully large amount during this decoration phase, to be fair, so we've got quite a bit to colour. You can see we've got a bit of a stairway and a patio out the front here. Basically what I did was start at the top, put the initial foundation in, put the stairs on to figure out where it was going to line up, and then put the lower foundation in, and then snap the stairs back in, and repeat. And that basically gives you a kind of tiered terrace kind of look that we've got here. A little bit of decoration out front. There we go, there's the gas station sign that apparently just randomly wanted to snap in there just fine. Or, well, not exactly snap, but you know, it fitted in okay. And it plugs the gap, so I figure we're going to have to assume it's already damaged and have taken a hammer to it to make it fit, but it plugs that gap reasonably well. It's just about the most effective thing I could come up with. It looks quite cool. So, onto the inside. Quite happy with the vibe of this now it's finished. Got all our workbenches down on the lower floor. Little kitchen table there to sit at if you want to. Power armor station's a little out of place, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, the other style won't fit underneath the upper floor there. It's just a bit too tall, so we have to go for the high-tech one. Up our new atomic shop stairs to my favourite little area in some ways. This just a little seating area. It's quite a nice, comfortable feel. Very happy to have some sofas. So to get that fireplace in, as we've done before, I took the angled roof there that you can see off, put the fireplace in, and then just snapped the roof back on. It went straight through, puts the chimney outside the roof, and the smoke goes out of the building rather than into it. But well, a little death claw snapped onto the pillar there. And this is where the change is. So as you can see, I've opened up that end and continued it round the corner over the entranceway. We put a little angled roof on the corner there, and those slanted half walls. So you plug the gap with the angled roof further up. You just about see the wires coming up towards a orange cycling light that I've put in. Unfortunately that needs a direct wire, but it's the best option for getting a bit more light up here. Just didn't really have anywhere else to put any decent warm looking lighting. So the wires are a little obnoxious, but gotta do what you gotta do, you know? But we've kept the same basic feel, just kept it going a little bit further with this extension to the upper floor. Dead easy to do. As always with the 76 building, it's just pick your pieces and snapping the right ones together. But yeah, comes with a much more open and organic, to use the word again, feel to the upper floor, and I like it. A couple of obligatory Nuka-Cola signs. Yeah, I like the look of this place. It's quite comfy, cosy, shack in the Savage Divide feel to it. And quite a good size, really. We'll head back down the entranceway, the entrance tunnel, and take a look around the outside. We've got a couple of cool little features out here as well. Remember to close the door. So here, for the staircase to the left here, I had to snap a foundation piece, or position rather, a foundation piece where we're standing about now at the bottom of the stairs, and then snap the next one on this top piece to that, and then remove the original one and replace it with the stairs. Because unfortunately it won't snap through that little gap in the rocks on its own. Need a little bit of help. We've got a little patio out here, got a banjo and a little seating area. A few turrets knocking around just to prevent any scorched or... I've had quite a few wolves running around lately as well. To prevent those guys coming up and causing havoc. A little garden out back for farming adhesive and my personal favourite blackberries. A couple of water purifiers. There's actually a little lake just down from here that I might be tempted to build on. We'll see. Be a nice place to get dirty water if you want to boil that up for cooking with. Far more efficient than using the pump. So as you can see, here's a little generator room with the wires running through the cracks in the woodwork. Much more believable to my mind than the stone was, the brick rather. We'll open up, and I'm quite happy with the decoration in here. Limited by our current restrictions, but hopefully that'll be changing soon. Fortunately that wooden post conduit was unavoidable, but a little bit of shelving, toolbox in there. It's actually a stash box, but yeah, it works. There we go. So, take a little look around the corner here at the side of the building, and then we'll have a look around in the evening. And it kind of comes to life. I seem to always wind up coming back here at night, so it's worth having a look. Nice little bit of moonlight coming through there. Yeah, it looks nice and subtle on the hillside there, which is cool. Head through our little entrance. Nice warming, inviting light. Put a few lanterns in here just to give that little bit of colour. Popped a couple of mounted heads from the new Sheer Terror quest line, lying low. Actually would have put more, but I ran out of resources, unfortunately. Yeah, a nice warming glow. Really like a few more options that are in this colour rather than just this oil lamp, but it is what it is. Kitchen area in the corner. I've put the Easter Deathglaw eggs on that table down there, actually. Just because, you know, I've got them, why not? Down a nice, comfortable stairs, little area to sit and listen to the radio. There we go, you can see the cycling light up the top there, giving us a little bit of an orange glow and a little bit more light. Still need to get some sheets on that bed, unfortunately, but that's life. Yeah, nice little homey shack, I think. I don't like calling it a shack, really. I think it feels a bit more complete than that. Oh yes, as I mentioned earlier, you can see the change I made to the roof made it a bit more arched. It makes it feel a little bit more open, as does removing that internal wall and extending out a little bit. So, yeah, I like the feel of this a lot more than what I was working to originally. Take a little swing around the outside and have a look. I do like that the Tinker's workbench there has an orange light on it. Fits much better with the lighting scheme we've gone for, which is quite cool. Welcome home sign. Head round the corner. The one drawback to these upper staircases, the one behind us just now, is that the pathing is a little bit of an issue. It's not too bad when you're going at full speed. When you're not, you do tend to catch your feet a little bit. Avoid the overhang a little bit here. I do like the angles on this. Something I try and incorporate into builds. It's very, very easy to wind up with a boxy shaped build. And sort of forcing yourself away from that requires using some slightly more unorthodox pieces, I think. But it creates a much more organic feeling build, which I like a lot. Turret up there to cover the rear approach. Not that I've been attacked from the side yet, which is something, I suppose. Had a few scorched to wander up from the disposal site down there, but that's about it. Sometimes they sit a long way back and take pot shots, which is kind of annoying. And there we go. Nice tidy looking garden out the back. Quick look at our little generator room once more in the evening. Need a few more options for doors. Not really keen on the ones we've got, they just don't quite fit. Or they look too scrappy. So that's why I keep coming back to this red one. There we go. So I do hope you enjoyed that one, folks. If you did, do hit those buttons for me. It's always very, very much appreciated. Social media links should be down in the description, popping up about now as well, if you'd like to catch up with me over there. See what I'm up to. And if you haven't already, do stop by and come hang out on one of the streams as well. We've been having a lot of fun. So for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will be speaking to you all very, very soon.